Hey Revs fans, you're in for a treat today. Welcome to Coffee with a Coach, fueled by Dunkin. I'm Elizabeth Pehota alongside New England Revolution head coach Bruce Arena ahead of the Revs home opener this weekend against FC Dallas. Coach, thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
Coach, your team battled to take a point in Portland, finishing in a 2-2 draw. How can the group build upon that first 90-minute performance?
Well, let's be honest. It wasn't our best day. I think we've had a very difficult preseason. The CCL games that were eliminated really hurt our preparations, and I think it showed in this game. We were definitely out of sync. We're not as fit as we need to be this time of year, especially with the next 5 games being hectic with, basically Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday games coming up. So to get a point on the road in Portland, with a team that I think is among the top 5 teams in the league, you can't have a whole lot to complain about, but I think our second half was not good, and that was disappointing, and hopefully we can use that experience to be better this week against Dallas.
In the attack, your group did generate 16 shots, 7 of which were on target. What's been the message in the attacking third of the field?
Well, be aggressive, getting players in and around the penalty area. Perfect example of that is the second goal that Leggett scored, things we've been working on. But we want to be more aggressive in the attacking third. We want Carlos playing closer to goal. We're trying to convince Gustavo to play in the penalty area as well. We think that'll help us, but overall we're making progress.
I know it's early, but which player has surprised you the most so far through the first game and preseason?
I think Brandon Byes had a very good preseason and start to the year. He's improved, I think, from last year. I think he has the potential to be one of the top right backs in the league. So it's good to see he came in pretty fit. He's had a good preseason, and hopefully that'll continue.
3 Revs newcomers made their debuts in Portland, including Sebastian Leggett, Josie Altidore, and Omar Gonzalez. What's allowed them to integrate so seamlessly?
Not to mention the guy in the goal.
Yes, well, he's not a Revs newcomer though, but he did make his debut. Yes.
His debut, yes.
He was pretty good.
Earl had a very good game. I thought Omar was solid. Josie had limited minutes. Sebastian had a good effort and got his first goal for the Revolution. So all in all, I think it was a pretty good showing by those guys.
And 3 of those players you coached previously in their careers. Striker Josie Altidore said recently in an interview that you haven't changed a ton, but what a lot of people don't know is that you have a bit of a soft side, and he brought up that you let him go to his prom when he was 16 years old. How strongly do you remember that interaction and conversation?
Not that well, but I do remember now, as you state that I let him go to his prom. How couldn't I? I'd be a real rotten guy to tell a 16-year-old kid he can't go to his prom. Yeah, I mean, really interesting seeing Josie at 16 and where he is today. That's one of the fun parts of coaching. That's almost reminds me somewhat of the years when I was a college coach. You see how your players grow, and one day they become responsible people. So that's kind of fun to see where Josie is today.
What's your assessment of Josie? Has he become that responsible adult?
Yeah, he's a man today, and I've known his wife for years actually, from LA. So it's great to see he's married now, and he's matured as a person, both on and off the field.
You touched on it earlier, but switching gears a little bit, your team's going to be balancing playing in 2 competitions with the MLS regular season and Concacaf Champions League, and you have 5 games in only 15 days coming up starting on Saturday with 2 games against Pumas and a trip to Mexico City. What's your approach to that hectic stretch?
It's going to be difficult. I think these are difficult moments for MLS teams because the timing of this competition does not sync real well with the MLS calendar. And on top of everything else, we didn't get our first 2 CCL games in. So it's going to be difficult. I think in 2 of the MLS games, I'm going to have to think of rotating players and maybe going all out on the first game in the CCL against Pumas. We got to win at home. And if we can position ourselves with 3 points at home, we have a chance going to Mexico City. Mexico City is a whole different animal with the heat, the altitude, the smog, and obviously the travel. So that's going to be challenging. So, the most important thing right now is our focus is going to be on Dallas. we need to get 3 points at home. If we do that, it'll give us a little momentum going into Wednesday's game against Pumas.
And you've coached several club teams in Concacaf Champions before, including winning the Concacaf Champions Cup in 1998 with DC United. But this group of athletes hasn't really been in this competition before. So what's your message to them as they're doing it for the first time?
Well, we have some players that have been involved. Omar's one I can think about. Obviously, Josie's been involved in this kind of competition, but we got to give them some clues as to the things they're going to face. The officiating is going to be different. The things that are allowed on the field are going to be different. So it's going to be challenging. We have a couple of players that are still a little bit naive, so hopefully they're going to grow up between now and next Wednesday.
Well, this group has the home opener at Gillette Stadium on Saturday against FC Dallas. And FC Dallas is a rejuvenated team under new leadership, and they've brought in several pieces such as Paul Arriola. What challenges are you expecting in this game?
Well, they're a young team. They play with a lot of energy. I think they're confident from their opening game against Toronto, where for the most part they played pretty well. So I expect them to come in here and be a pretty aggressive team. They play with 3 front runners out of a 4-3-3, and they're technical, they're quick, and they're young. So I think that they're going to be a handful.
And you are only 1 win away from surpassing legend Siggy Smith for the most regular season wins in MLS history. What will it mean to you to accomplish that achievement?
Well, I guess if you're around long enough, you probably win some games. But I think that's a compliment to the people that have worked with me, the coaches and the players and the support staff. I haven't thought that much about it. I imagine at some point in 2022, I'm going to get another win with this team and be on top, and that's nice and all. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a wonderful achievement, but I do look back on all the people that helped me get there.
And I just wanted to ask you a little bit about your offseason. I know it was brief, but what was your favorite part about it for you?
There wasn't a favorite part, unfortunately. I didn't have a whole lot of time off, even though that's a little bit of a lie. I did manage to go to Pebble Beach with our goalkeeper coach for 3 days before the team came out to Los Angeles. That was my highlight of the off. It wasn't the off season because we were actually back in preseason, but I didn't have a whole lot of time. I went to Manhattan Beach and visited my family for a couple of weeks, but I was busy dealing with working on trades such as Legit and Altador, and it was taking too much time during the day. So I had very, very little vacation time, but again, it's all part of the exercise working in Major League Soccer.
You mentioned going to Pebble Beach. How's your golf swing coming along?
Well, I didn't set any records at Pebble Beach, for sure, but it was absolutely beautiful. Played Pebble and Spyglass, and we had a great time.
Well, thank you so much, Bruce. And
thank you.
Thank you for all of you for stopping by Coffee with the Coach, fueled by Dunkin.
Thank you, Dunkin' Donuts.